Welcome back. Today's her birthday. I want to honor her too, Tamla Man. We can definitely celebrate that queen and that voice. And let me say thank you. Thank you, Smith, for doing all the good stuff. Welcome back to the hottest show in the galaxy. It's the Karen Hunter Show. We are here on Sirius XM Urban View. We're talking powers and becomes action. Roderick Morrow is sitting in with us for the first hour, and joining us is an award-winning, amazing actress. She's also an artist. We're going to talk about her art as well. Let me welcome the great CCH Pounder. Hey.
Thank you so much. Hi,
welcome back.
thanks. It's been a while. When was the last time I spoke with you?
Last time we were in the studio, so it was before COVID. We were in a studio that was not the studio that they built out for me. So that was like 2 years before that. So it's been maybe a good 5 years, maybe. Yeah. So
BC, so before COVID is an amazing thing these days.
Yes, wow. Yes. How are you? How are you holding? So I was spending the day watching the latest Avatar, just to see you in it, right? I think you're.
Did you not? Did you?
I was like, I blinked. I was like, was that CC? Yeah. I was thinking a couple of things. A woman who grew up on a sugar plantation.
Yes.
In a colonized country of
yes.
Guyana, to play in a movie, because you were in the first one, that is about people, great, amazing humans, not humans, beings who, have agency. Somebody else wants to come and take their stuff. And it seems to be the story over and over. They just want to fight and kill and destroy all of the beauty because they don't value it. And I just think about the world that we're in right now, where we don't even understand the interconnected, like we're talking off mic about the smoke in Canada that affected my air yesterday. I was like, I couldn't breathe outside. Something that happened way up there, thousands of miles away. And I just think about how we don't see how we're really all connected. And it's sad.
I'm amazed because every single film I've done during the COVID time has been about the interconnectedness of human beings, and we just don't get it. And it's amazing how I kept saying yes to this, and I would look at the script and kind of going, this is kind of the same story. This is yet another story from a different angle. But it's hopefully going to be those stories until I croak, because right now I just feel the need to push stories that somehow we as humans recognize our sameness as opposed to our constant difference, and why we bicker and stab each other about it.
We were also talking off mic about Higher Ground, the Obama's production company that produced Rustin, which is the story of Bayard Rustin, or what would you say, Bayard?
Yeah, Bayard. A lot of people say Bayard Rustin.
Bayard. Yeah. All right. Bayard, however, wherever you come from, whatever them syllables like mean in your mouth.
Or
right. Coleman Domingo, Adrian Warren. I mean, the cast is ridiculous. Divine Joy, Randolph Child. This is like gonna be phenomenal on Netflix. I was just thinking about, you making the choice, having the agency to make the choices. Right now there's a strike, writer's strike. Right. We were talking yesterday with Tanya Pinkins about Tyler Perry and how he's not affected by it. And I just think about, to do the thing that you love, to have to feed your family and yourself, to make choices sometimes that you wouldn't want to make, and maybe have to work somewhere that you don't want to work, to be at the place that you are right now. Where is that, CCH Pounder?
I think that affects almost every actor that I know, because a great many of the things that come across your way it's not Shakespeare. It's not, it's not like the creme de la creme, but you can literally take something that looks sort of mediocre and say to yourself, how can I make this better? And by assuming that it can grow from point A to point B simply by the talent you've accrued over the years, it can make mediocrity kind of shine. And it doesn't work all the time. It's no fun when somebody says, the film was awful, but you were amazing in it. I don't care about that. But if we don't have a lot of choices in terms of, especially in the beginning, in terms of how we get work. So you take the work and you turn blank into Shinola every time you can.
How long did it take for you to get here where you just are doing Shinola?
I would say about 32, 35 years for me. I may have been slower because um, there are a lot of us that kind of repeat the same type of role over and over again. And I got very panicky in the beginning. I played these fabulous hookers and women who sold their babies for crack. And, they were the lowliest of the low and constantly being beaten up, constantly being snotty nosed. And I passed a kid and his father one day, and the guy said, "Oh my God, that's that lady. That's that lady." It was like Miami Vice or something like that. And I remember the father just pulled the kid just a little bit closer to him, and he said, "Yeah, they're kind of like that." And I realized that my fabulous um, acting job in the particular role that I did had now translated to, it's not just that lady, but it's all of them. And I realized that I had to be an activist in my work because I wasn't really free to be an actor. And that's sad, but at the same time, you've got to kind of grab the bull by the horns and kind of go, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to do this now. And that became, in the beginning, narrowing, because it was like, I'm only going to play like doctor, lawyer, judge, doctor, lawyer, judge. And it was like, oh, my poor little actor in me was going, okay, why can't I just be wicked? Why can't I be nasty? Why can't I be sweet and sexy? All of these things that a character
you are
is basically allowed to be, but it, gets very difficult in the American makeup of film and television. So I just
what was your like favorite role that after you were like, listen, I'm not gonna be typecast as this, that, or the other. What was your favorite, whether movie role or TV role?
I've had a couple of movie roles that were really sort of like a quick moment that I took that role and I went into television with it and expanded it. And definitely The Shield.
Yes.
I had done that role in a movie called Sliver with Sharon Stone and Billy Baldwin, and Billy or Stephen Baldwin. And it was like just a little kernel of something that I went, wow, if I could really, get my meaty hands part on this role and really kind of expand her, this would be great. And therefore Claudette was born in The Shield.
Oh man, I love that role, by the way. That's one of my favorite. That series really feels like very foretelling of just where America is.
Very. That's very. Yeah.
Facts. I loved you in Sons of Anarchy as well. If we're going to do TV. So
the Sons of Anarchy role, there was a scene that I loved that stepped out of, because I didn't want to do Sons of Anarchy, I'll be honest. And they just sort of strong armed me like, CC, you gotta do it. And so D.A. Patterson has a moment when she goes into the bathroom and she's been fighting these people and it's not going anywhere. And she decides to take her gloves off and she goes in the bathroom and she snatches her head.
Yes.
And she says, time to get hood, sister.
Yeah.
She is like, she walks out of there with a whole new demeanor. And there's nobody in the hallway, but it's as if there were 1,000 people in the hallway going, whoa. So I had a great time with that.
I remember that scene because a friend of mine, we always say this one line to each other from one of the episodes where they see that she's got the wig off and the brother turns to the other dude and goes, sister be kicking it with the real flow. I was like, yeah, she took the wig off. They in trouble now. What's it like filming Avatar? Like, did you have to do the whole like thing on your face that I always see in the behind the scenes?
I did. And just getting back to Avatar for a minute, Karen, it's the idea that I was there in a blink and I got this fantastic credit and I thought, ooh, and then it was like, did you see me? It was gone. And I realized that they had to introduce so many of those kids that by the time it came to the old folks back at home tree,
Mhm.
there wasn't much time. But you know, I've also done Avatar 3 and Avatar 4. So
Oh, wait, come
I'll
on
be-
through with the come on checks. Come on, checks.
I'll
Yes.
be around for a little bit.
Yes. Come. I love it. Well, it took 20 years. By the time the second Avatar came, I ain't care anymore. I remember that my first experience, I actually went with the 3D or whatever it was. It was like new
Yes.
technology. There was nobody in the theater. I went like Christmas morning with a couple of friends, and I'm sitting there, I just beat somebody in Scrabble, and we went to see Avatar. And it was one of the most incredible. I remember sitting there grabbing at the little things, and it was
Yes.
just so beautiful. It was amazing. And this one did just as well. I think the Avatar is like
The third
Avatar,
highest
Titanic.
grossing movie
Yeah.
of all time.
Yeah.
So clearly everybody was like, all right.
Which it
well,
like had to be at least the fourth highest grossing to make money. And of course, James Cameron said, I got y'all. Don't worry about that. And
But
made
the irony is
highest.
that he's beating himself, you know.
yes.
You know,
He's the
Yes.
man. Okay.
Yeah, he
Listen,
is.
I'm
I
a James
understand.
Cameron truther. I'm an Avatar truther.
yeah,
I love those
Titanic was
movies. I
his,
go to the
Avatar's
theater to
was-
see them. Okay. I need to see the 3D, the IMAX. I want to live in that world. They really
Yeah.
like created something from scratch. Like, we don't have a lot of that happening anymore.
I've
Everything,
never
you know.
seen imagination such as this. It's like wait till you see the next one and the next one,
ooh,
I
because
will.
it's an arc that wasn't like, oh, that did so great, let's do another one. This is the story. If we get to this part, we're doing great. If they let us go this far, we're doing great. And that's really
wow.
The secret of it, is that it's not based on numbers. It's based on a story idea that he wants to put out there to the world. And the whole thing is written.
You gotta love those kind of people, you know,
Yes.
those folk, those visionaries, because we have very few of them, and this AI is gonna destroy the rest. Anybody
pretty
that might,
scary.
but that's why I love sitting with you, people like you. Roderick Morrow is here, CCH Pounder, the great CCH Pounder, because you create something out of nothing, and you also understand art at a tertiary level. So you now have an art exhibit featuring
Yes.
pieces from your collection, the Diaspora Stories, which is why I brought the sugarcane farm in, because I'm imagining there's some hearkening back to that. Tell us about it.
All of those things. I don't want to leave out my late husband, Boubacar, because if it weren't for him, really, I would not have gone on such a huge art journey. I had my own private collection. And when I married him, within a year, he said, I need to have a museum. And I was like, oh, sure. Okay, let's go build one of those, brother. And when we did the math, his interest was in traditional African arts. And I said, we can't afford to do it. We can't afford it because we don't know how to do the testing. We don't know what's false or what's real. Even though it's your eye and your profession, once it gets slick, it's going to go right over our heads. What we can do is start a collection of contemporary African art. We're right at it. It was the 1990s, late 80s, 90s. And we built a museum, and we opened up with what I would honestly say were 34 really good pieces. And then the rest was like, can we just hang something on the wall? And over the 25 years that we had it, it became known as one of the little gems in Senegal, West Africa. If you're going to Africa, you're going to be on the West, see the Musée Boribana. So that was the beginnings of now this voracious collector that's me. And what's happened that's amazing, Karen, is that when we started, no one was interested in diasporic art in numbers. Now people are calling like, Cece, who are you collecting? What have you got in your collection? And these are from institutions that are checking in with you, because now it is a stone rolling down the hill. And if you hadn't collected in the beginning, now everybody's trying to get on that roll and be part of it, because now they realize that they were missing out on the most amazing artists that had been previously ignored, and very few people were collecting them except within our community and a few scattered around the world, from every race. But now it's part of everyone's mainstream. China, Japan, every fair, there is an African presence. And when I say an African presence, I mean the diaspora, I mean the Caribbeans, I mean African Americans, Africa. And my great luck was that I loved collecting for so long. And I'm even specific, so there's room for plenty of other people, because I fell in love with female portraiture. I guess I wanted to see myself, the ego, over and over again. There's another one. There's one.
I see it right behind you. That's
right,
gorgeous.
Yeah, beautiful pieces. And my husband one day said, okay, look, I'm married to one woman. Who are all these women on our wall? What is this? And so I said, oh, perhaps I should diversify. And so just by that comment, it allowed me to kind of take a look at other things. And so I started collecting the male image. I started collecting landscapes, and I avoided at all costs abstract. And then there was an abstract artist, Carl Hazelwood, from my country, Guyana. And I said, okay, let me learn a little bit about abstract art by African diasporic people. And so it started. And so this sort of looking now at conceptual art, which is really tough for me to take, because I'm kind of like a show me state, make it plain. And concepts are a little ethereal, a little intellectual, not my favorite place to be, but the intellectuals have to exist as well. But I always say, my husband was an intellectual. He solved the world with a beer at the end of a bar, and I was the one who got all the practical stuff done.
Yes.
So,
I mean, but it worked 40 years, man. Will you come back? I would love to sit with you to talk about Boubacar Cohn.
Oh yeah, he was a really unusual creature. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Will you come back just to talk, just to celebrate him?
Just to talk about, to do that? Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
In the meantime, July 16th is the last date that people have to go in Chicago to see this collection. Is that correct? It's July 16th. And then correct. Where's it going from there?
Afterwards, it's going to morph into something slightly different. It will be at the Wright Museum in Detroit in 2024. And it will be called Icons is the original name for it. And they want to change it up also because they want to add other images as well that I have in my collection. So everybody's getting very excited about how vast the collection is and how many other themes that can work for their constituents. So I'm really happy about that. So
right.
Detroit,
but right now, Chicago, DuSable Black History Museum and Education Center. Go see that now through July 16th. CCH Pounder Cohn, Mrs. Cohn, thank you for being here today. I appreciate you.
Very sweet. Thank you. Good talking with you guys.
Yes.
All righty.
Now, let me ask. So I'm serious about you coming back. I feel like there's a lot of lost people. How do you keep going? And, to really know your 40-year journey in a relationship that was so beautiful. Just stay
curious. It's so simple. Yeah. Just stay curious.
Will you come back? I'm asked, do we have to go through your person or whatever? I would love to have you.
Oh yeah,
back.
He's there. He's
like, don't wait 5 years is what I'm saying. You can come back anytime.